Here we're going to do cross sections of different geometric solids. Now the cross section is whatever shape you get when you pass a plane through a three-dimensional object, and the plane is 2 dimensions, and you can do it at any angle, and it's just whatever shape that particular spot happens to be. Now I drew some of them and I sculpted some of them out of Play-Doh, and you get the choice on your assignment. The Play-Doh does take longer, but it's more fun. They both take a certain amount of skill, whatever you want to decide. Here I started with a cube, and that cross section right there was a square. And we could do it from any face and get a square. You would have to do it at an angle if you want to get a rectangle. And here I got a triangle, and that's coming at an angle from the corner of the cube. Here I did a cylinder, and then if you are going to go parallel to the base, you're going to get a circle. And then if you do a lot of the same stuff except for go at a slight angle, you're going to get an ellipse, which is a geometry term for an oval. And then later I stand it up and I go perpendicular to the base, and then you get the rectangle. Next we have a rectangular prism. So if you go parallel to any of the 3 faces, you'll get those 3 different rectangles. If you wanted to go at an angle, you could still get a different sized rectangle, and then if you went in from the corner, at an angle from the corner, you could get a triangle just like we did with the cube. Next we have a cone, and if we go anywhere parallel to the base, we're going to get a circle. Now if you go at a slight angle, you're going to get an ellipse, and then if you do that same angle but you go further to the edge where it gets cut off, then you're going to get a parabola. And when you go perpendicular to the base, then you will get the triangle. Then we have a rectangular pyramid, and so if you're going to go parallel to the base, then you're going to get a rectangle. If you go at a slight angle, you're going to get a different sized rectangle, and if you go perpendicular to the base, you're going to get a triangle. You can represent this with drawing, so here I have a few cubes, and I just did the cross section kind of in the middle of the cube, which is going to get a square. On the next one, if you have one side being closer to the front and one side being closer to the back, it's going to give you a rectangle. If you come in from an angle through the corner, that's when you get the triangle. You can do all those same things with a rectangular prism, and then you'll get rectangles for your answer, except for the last one, you'll get the triangle. And when you do it with a rectangular prism, each of those rectangulars could be different dimensions. The next one I'm going to do is going to be a rectangular pyramid, and so if you're going to go parallel to the base, then you're going to get the same shape as the base. The one I drew ends up being at an angle a little bit, and it's still a rectangle. For this rectangular pyramid, I just made the cross section perpendicular to the base, which will give you a triangle. Now if you look at my cones, if you just trace the sides and then do a straight line at the bottom instead of the curved one, that's going to be your upright cross section, which is perpendicular to the base, so that's the triangle. We can do one that's parallel to the base, that's going to be a circle. If you have one at a little bit of an angle, that's going to be an ellipse. Angle it a little bit and move it over, down or over, so it doesn't come back around in one big curve. That's going to be your parabola.